Hello everybody, my name is Adam. We are in Planet Zoo today where I am going to show you the top 5 things you need to know about this game. Now, just a disclaimer, you might know some of these things, you might not know some of these things. Hopefully you don't know them all and you do learn and see something new today. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you know I am a very avid Planet Zoo player. I have well over 1,000 hours, so hopefully I can share something new, exciting, and something you can learn about today in Planet Zoo. Number 5, we have taking screenshots. Now, I know it's not a very important mechanic within Planet Zoo, but if you want to take some good screenshots and share them on social media, or just keep them for yourself for your own little albums, or to see how your new habitat is looking and get people's feedback on it, this is how you go about it. Right, you find the perfect location for where you want to take a screenshot. This time it's the lakeside lodges and my moose habitat. By the way, if you want anything like this, description, there's a link in the Steam Workshop page. You can download this if you want it to add it to your zoos. But back to the screenshot. Now we need to change a few settings, and there's just my opinion and what I like to do. Now, first thing we need to do is clear the weather, so we need to clear that, and I'm going to change it to about 1:30 in the morning. I don't know why, it just seems to be the best time to take a screenshot in this game. We'll get rid of that, and now we've got the color settings and the clearance we want to take a screenshot. Now here's a little tip. We're going to go into this option here. Oh look, there's a little moose coming into shot there. But anyway, we need to go to camera effects, bottom left here. Now there's some interesting options here. Don't worry about any of them apart from apply filter, because this is what we're going to use to take amazing screenshots. So you can see these options here. We've got green, full color, grey, dawn, lush, warm and breeze. The two we're going to focus on today are warm and lush. These are the best ones for taking a screenshot. We're going to show you warm first. Now we're just going to click on warm and we're just going to apply the filter and watch what happens. Just look at this habitat now, the water, the sand and the moose and the trees and our lakeside lodges. When I click this, see how everything just comes more alive and more vibrant and more realistic. Let's take it off, take it back on, and you can really see how it changes your screenshot. You can actually play with this setting on as well, remember. Now let's try the lush one. Personally, my favourite one. Use it all the time to take all my screenshots. Apply filter and it looks like this. How better does that look? Take it back off, take it back on, and just look how amazing that looks. So we'll get rid of that, and now we've got the perfect colours for our screenshot ready and done. Now taking the actual screenshot. First thing we need to do is press the letter G on our keypad. If you don't know what that does, it takes away the UI. The user interface is now gone, making a perfect clean screenshot ready for you. Press G, brings it back up. Don't worry, you can get it back up. Press G, take it away. And now we need to take the screenshot itself, and there's a couple of ways of doing this. I think Steam Overlay has got a screenshot option in their overlay. I personally don't use this one, so I'm going to show you the ones I do use. Two different options. You might have a print screen button on your keyboard. Have a quick look around your keyboard now, see if there's a print screen, press it, and then paste into Paint or Paint 3D, and boom, save it. You've got your screenshot. Or what I like to do, my personal favourite, is have the Microsoft Xbox overlay. If you've got this downloaded, if you've got Xbox tab downloaded, just press the Windows button and G, and as you can see, it pops up all the screenshots we have taken. If it doesn't pop up the screenshots you've taken, it looks something like this. All you have to do is press this button here, this little camera button, screenshot saved, click on that notification, and there it is. You have got the screenshot. You can even share it direct to Twitter, copy it, you can delete it, or you can actually open up the file location just here by pressing this button, and it will automatically upload onto your screen the file location, so you can duplicate it or transfer it to a different file on your computer. And that is basically how I take a good screenshot in Planet Zoo. Now let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is useful sandbox mode settings. Now, don't get me wrong, franchise mode, it's great, it's a lot of fun to play, but once you've played it a couple of times, it does get a little bit boring. So the next step up is sandbox mode, because you can create everything you want with everything unlocked, and you can get really creative by tweaking some settings in the settings when in sandbox mode. So let's have a look at them. You can see here I'm just in, well, it's actually my franchise zoo, but I've opened it up in sandbox mode. And this is a recent zoo I started. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press exit, we're going to go into the settings and see what's available for us to change. Some of them are really useful. So if we click on sandbox here, we have animal settings, guest settings, economy settings and staff settings. Let's just open animal settings. Now you can scroll through these and pretty much enable or disable anything you want. You got stuff like animal death, animal illnesses, you know, everything like that. You can tailor this game how you want to play it. If you want to play sandbox mode, but you still want limitations of, you know, having a management and simulation game like you would do in franchise mode, you can do that, but in sandbox mode. So we've obviously got social welfare, like enable social groups, enable overcrowding. A big one here, enable animal stress. We know that's a pain in the ad in franchise mode before you've unlocked one-way glass. One-way glass, that's the one. And then you've got all these different settings as well. And a really important one and a useful one is enable escapes. Now, if you want to get really creative in your sandbox zoo or create something just out the blue, a random habitat, this is the setting for you. You can untick this and boom, you can put your animals in pretty much any habitat. Doesn't matter if it's climb proof, it doesn't matter if there's breaks in the fence, it doesn't matter if you want a totally open habitat. You will never get the notifications that your animals escape, because they're physically now not allowed to escape. Brilliant for people who are at the stage I'm at with my Planet Zoo creativity and just creating whatever I want to create and not worry about the animals escaping and then your guest running off. Sandbox mode, this is what you want to click. You want to click on power everything, and this will power everything. It's pretty simple, to be honest. You don't have to worry about placing any power sources like transformers or solar panels or anything like that. Power everything will power everything. You can also set your amount of cash you have here, again giving it more of a franchise kind of feel, look and playthrough. Then you've got all your staff settings here, as you would imagine. I like to turn fully trained staff on, so you don't have to worry about training them up, and they will do the best job they can do. And now another really useful setting I like to have on is this one. It's in the camera mode, in the camera tab, and it's disable camera collision with terrain. It says here allows the camera to move through the terrain. Basically that's what it is. Now this is very useful for when you place stuff within the terrain and then you want to group it, you want to select it, or you want to move it. It can get lost in the terrain unless you click on this setting here. It makes the game much more easier to control in those sticky situations when you've got a lot of variable items within a group and you want to move them freely and be able to go underground. I'll show you that now. I'll just click it, apply, and then OK. And then I'll just show you now. Boom, we can go under the floor. As you can see, we are currently under the floor, and anything under the floor we can actually drag under. And I'll show you. For this shop, for instance, if we move it there, we can now go under and see how much we need to move it up to be able to actually get it back to the surface. Number 3 is going to be all about traversable area, and it's going to bring us into step 2 as well, so that's a hint of what step 2 will be. First we're going to talk about guests. So I've got this little entrance built up here. Now you can see our guests are coming through this side and they're coming through the middle here. Guests will walk on top of building pieces as well as through building pieces, and that's the same for your employees at your park as well, your zookeepers, your caretakers and so on. So I'll just show you quickly here. If I place this here and we'll zoom in, and you will see guest and our zookeeper, our janitor, sorry, will walk through the wall. Now this is really handy for one certain thing. If we press door here and we place, let me just turn a line to surface on, we place a door down here, we can give it the impression that, you know, your guest can actually walk through this door like it's a functional door. So you don't worry about blocking your guest off. Look, you can see the, you know, the guest and the staff now walking through the door. You don't have to have an open area for your guest to walk through. You can have it enclosed and not worry about your guests getting stuck or anything like that. Let's delete these and I'll show you the walking on. So let's type in, I tell you what, let's go into flat roofs and floors, get rid of that, and we can click anything basically. So we're going to go with this. Now if I want to create a custom floor, I can. You can see this is just a normal in-game path, but if I lower this down just above the path and we'll line it up here, I can create a nice little walkway like so, and our guest, as you can see, can still stand on it and can still walk on it as long as there is a path underneath it. They will not walk across this if there's not a path placed underneath it. So place your path, place pretty much any flooring item you want. I've gone with this lovely like wood log effect here, and your guests will walk on it, giving you a better, more eye-catching zoo and areas to your zoos. Just custom flooring is just great, and I use it in pretty much everything I build. Number 2 is animal traversable area, and here's a little Nile monitor habitat I created actually a very long time ago. But as you can see, I've built a little bridge, and that's right, your animals, if you did not know, can go over to one habitat, but you can have a bridge over a path so your guests can look up at animals traversing over the bridge. You'll be very surprised how many traversable items, rocks and foliage your animals can traverse through. There's a bridge again. I'll just show you the actual Nile monitor itself traveling over the bridge now. As you can see, there's an animal traveling over the bridge over the heads of our guests looking up at them, and you can do this with pretty much any animal. Obviously, the bigger the animal, the bigger the bridge you will need. Back to the zoo we were previously at, just to show you a bit more tips and tricks with the traversable area. You can see we've got some lovely tortoises now. I'm just in pause at the moment. Now, as you can see, if we click on this, it will show how much area the animal itself has got to roam about. Now, little tip, if we click on the bottom left here on the heat map, make sure our animal is selected. We go on habitat and traversable area, and it will show you everywhere that animal can go. The white spots is where the animal cannot go or where you have items placed. Now it will also show you where they can break out. So if I click on this, click back on the animal here, just like so, we click back on the map. Now we press play so it just refreshes. Press pause again, and as you can see, it shows the breakout point where animals can break out. This is really useful if you don't want to use the previous setting I showed you for the animals to not be able to escape, and you want to keep it more realistic, or you in franchise mode. This is really helpful. It will show you where you're going wrong, where your animals can escape, and where you need to change up your habitats to stop your animals escaping. It shows a little graph here and shows what these little icons mean. This one means walkable escape point, climbable escape point, and jumpable escape point. So if you've got pesky monkeys what keep escaping your habitat, it will show this sign of where they're doing so. So we will repair that, and I'll show you something else. So as you can see at the moment, if we read here, this tortoise has 1,279 meters squared available to roam about in, for the need of 245. So they only need 245. We've got loads of space from 1,279. But if you ever get to the point where you need more space, you can always build up. Now this is a nice little trick. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we build some simple mulch like this, okay, just like that, our animals will be able to traverse on this. But not only that, by building up, it will add to the space that animals have got. So before we press pause, remember it's 1,279 meters squared. When we press play, watch that number jump. After it's calculated, it's now 1,340 meters squared, and it will click back on the heat map, and as you can see, our tortoise can traverse up there, and it now has more space within the actual habitat itself just by building up. This also works with building down. And at number 1, we have got cheat codes and Easter eggs. Now some of you might have seen my previous video on this. I've done a whole tutorial and a whole video of all the cheat codes and all the Easter eggs within Planet Zoo. So if you've not checked that out, go and check that out now, because I'm only going to show you one, but I am going to show you my favourite one. So there's some cheat codes you can put in. You can change some guest names, some animal names, and it lets you do certain things like change animal colours, let guests do certain funny stuff, as well as using different mechanics like first person view. But for this case, I'm going to show you my favourite one, and that is this one. So we're going to click on any random guest within your zoo, and we're going to change their name. So we're going to go up here and we're going to take that out, and we're going to change it to J. Holt Hooson. Now we're going to zoom out, and on the name here we're going to just press enter and just watch what happens. You're not going to want to miss this, so don't blink. Just like that, all your guests got absolutely flying everywhere. As you can see, don't worry, they do all get up, they are all okay, and they will carry on the normal paths. Even if they're jumping around pretending to be stuck, you can see some are getting back to normality now. Just a little fun one I wanted to add to you. And remember, if you want a full tutorial of all the cheat codes in the game, it is in the channel. In fact, I'll link it in the description below. And that is it for the video. I hope one of these 5, what would you call it, tips, tricks, showcase, I don't know what you would call it, but one of these 5 points I've covered today, I hope they either help you, entertain you, or teach you something new you didn't know about Planet Zoo. My name's Adam, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, new or old, smash that like button. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.